All right, so these are our last equation solving, just equation solving. Obviously, we're going to use it in other things though. But in these ones, you have to be able to read what is in the question, turn it into an equation so that you can solve it. Now, there are varying difficulties. Question one, the ones in question one, they're all just one-step equations when you make them. Question two, I think, is your two-step ones. And question three, when we get down to those, have the pronumerals on both sides. Okay? So they will increase in the number of steps as we go through them. Okay, so I've highlighted the ones that I'm going to do because this is actually your exercise. I'll go straight into your exercise questions here. So I'm going to start with question A. Solve these number problems by first writing an equation. And in all of these equations, I'm going to let the number that I'm looking for, I'm going to let it be the x. X is a good letter to use. You can follow it if you want to when you're doing them. But anytime that we're talking about something that we're trying to find, a number of something, we're going to use the letter x so that we can find what it is, all right? So the first question says, the sum of a certain number and 11 is 23. What is the number? I've highlighted the word sum because that tells me what operation I need to do to make this equation. Sum means plus sign. When it says the certain number, that's the x that I'm talking about. That's what I'm trying to find. I'm summing the x and the 11. So there's my sum of my certain number. And it says that it is 23. Now that tone of the word is basically means your equal sign. Another way of doing it is that to say is equal to or the result is. But anything that's in that general meaning means I need my equal sign and then the 23. Okay, so there it is. Made the equation. Now I need to solve it. As I said, it's a one step. What is my one step that I need to do to solve it? What's my opposite? Yeah, so x plus 11. So the opposite of that plus 11 is to minus the 11. And then I get x equals 23, not 22, should just be 12. Okay, let's try another one. I'm going to skip a few and you're going to fill in those blanks in a minute. D, the product. What does the word product mean? To times something. All right. I need to times 9 and a certain number. My certain number is going to be x. So how do I times 9 with x? 9x, perfect. So it's going to be 9x, and then there's that little word again, is, so that means equals 108. Okay, what is the number? Which means what is the x, is what it's asking me. How do I get the x by itself? Divide by 9. Okay, so in your calculator, what is 108 divided by 9? Unless you know it, you might not need a calculator. It is 12. And you can always check your answers by seeing if it makes sense with the word of the question. So if it says the product of 9 is a certain number, so if you do 9 times 12, the answer is 150. That's question 2, where we're stepping it up a notch to a two-step equation. Let's see if we can write the equation down. And in these questions on your test, I usually give you a mark if you can write the equation down. Because you've done that part, and then you get another mark or two, depending on how many steps there are, to solve it after that. If a number is multiplied by 3 and 5 is added to the product, the result is 17. Okay, what is the hidden equation in all those words? First part, my number, which I'm calling x, is multiplied by 3. What's that? 3x. Good. All right, the next part, so I've done the multiplied by 3. The next part says 5 is added to this product. So what do? Yeah, just plus 5. Then the result is 17 equals 17. See, if you break it into little bit at a time and just keep putting the next number in the right place, it's not so difficult. When you read the whole thing, you go, oh, it's an adding and blah, blah, blah. But just try and do a little bit at a time. Okay, solve the equation. What's the first step? Yes. Okay, so cross the 5 off. We have 3x equals 17 take away 5 is 12. You got the final answer right. Okay, next step is to get rid of the 3, which means I'm going to divide by 3. And there's x equals 4. So my number was 4. Let's go down to C. The sum of a certain number and 3 is then multiplied by 7. But I have to do the sum first. So the first part was the sum of my number, which is x, and 3. What's that going to be? Good. Okay, that, what I've got there, is now multiplied by 7. Now, should I do, like, would that be right? Times by 7? Which one? Well, that is a good point. But the other problem with that is that I'm only timesing the 3 with the 7. Because if you think back to order operations that you do in year 7, you always do times before you do an add. So if I want to times everything by 7, what means we say, I want all of that, I put it in brackets, I want all of that, and I want to times it by 7, which means that we usually put numbers in front of it. So put 7 in front. But at the end, it does technically mean the same thing. It just looks a bit weirder, and we're not used to expanding brackets that look like that. Okay? Then it says, if the answer is 63, what does that mean? Yeah, what does 63 do? If the answer is equals, there's my equal sign. So equals 63. Okay, what am I going to do? Expand, expand, expand. Good, so 7 times x is 7x. Then plus sign, 7 times 3 is good, and that's equal to 63. Now I have 2 numbers with my x over here, so I have 7 and 21. What do I do first? It is indeed. So minus 21, and we get, I'm going to jump over that page 33 there, so 7x equals 42, good. And my last move, divide the 7, great. So x equals 6. Okay, so there's a few more there. Let's do a question 3 one. So the equation for these problems will have pronumerals on both sides. Okay, the first part of the question says, the result of adding 12 to my certain number, my x. The result of adding 12 to x, what is that going to be? That's timesing. It says the result of adding. Adding. Adding is a plus. Yes? So I'm adding 12 to x. Now you could do x plus 12 or 12 plus x. When you're adding, it doesn't really matter. Okay? Then it says, is the same as. Is the same as means equal to. And then it's the same. So on the other side when equals to, I'm going to have to work out with these last bit here. It's the same as multiplying the number by 4. What number? What number are we multiplying by 4? The one we're trying to find, which is the x again. Okay, so it's same as multiplying x by 4, which is 4x. There is my equation, and it does have x's on both sides. Okay, so this is what we did last lesson. If you have x's on both sides, the one that's over here on the right, we want to move it over there. So how do I do that? What's its opposite? Minus. It is a plus at the moment, so I want to minus 4x. Okay. Now, what is x take away 4x? Minus 3x, good. You also have a plus 12, then an equals. Everything is gone. This lot. So what should I put equals to? If you put everything off from here, what goes there? 0. Yes. Okay, all right. 2 steps to finish it off. What should I do first? Yes, minus 12, minus 12. And I get minus 3x equals 0 minus 12 is minus 12. All right, last step is to get rid of the minus 3. How? Yes, divide by minus 3. Okay, I'm going to have to go to the side here because I've run out of room. So I'm going to go x equals, what is minus 12 divided by minus 3? 4. Okay, so we don't have all lesson on this, but I want you to now go back and fill in the rest of the ones in there up to page 34.